Hello, creepy crawlers! We are back after a long break. If I sounded like I was drifting off at the last video, it's because I was coming down with COVID. So I've been doing that for a while, but I'm all better now. My little moth wings are flapping again, and we're gonna get back to our forgefluffs, the fabricator, our mountain dwarf, who is a Forgewright, started off as a Forgewright. One thing to note in this game is that your background that you pick is just um it's just a suggestion. It's more of a guideline, really. More of a suggestion, really. Is that the line? I don't know. Anyway, looks like we've, however, stuck with it and put pretty straightforward. What spells do we have? Kinetic Grapple, that's our bread and butter, along with Spike Launcher, that gives us our sort of 1-2 punch with a short-ranged attack and then an even shorter range sort of sentry turret. Ooh, and we're getting Lightning Spire online. That's awesome. Swiftness ain't bad either. We'll want to get that down under 10% for sure. Okay, that's why we're training Air Magic with a -3 aptitude. That makes sense. We will get those spells online, and then we'll probably turn off... Well, definitely Air Magic. I think we've already got it set to level 4 limit. But we'll probably turn off Forgecraft for a while and focus on getting our defenses up a little bit. We're on Dungeon 5, we're level 8. Let's do the Spike Launcher's pretty strong. It's doing a fair amount of damage. Yeah, 2d7. Wow, Lightning Spire's 3d6. Pretty good. I think we get like one little extra tile. Oh yeah, and we've got our nice little demon trident. We can find a... we might be at the point where we should start identifying things. Yeah, let's finish... ooh, Ring of Evasion. That's strong. That'll replace our Ring of Resist Corrosion. We've got an Amulet of the Acrobat. That's nice. Lets us run away a little bit more easily. Ooh, this is nice. Soul Splinter. What is Soul Splinter? Oh, basic necromancy spell. Okay. Summons a little wisp. Oh, that seems strong. Huh, interesting. So here we've got the trio of caster deities. We've got Vehmet at the bottom, Sifmuna to the right, and Kikubakudka to the top. And we might want to worship one of them. Typically that's a pretty strong way to go. The other thing I'm considering is Gozag. Gozag is a deity that sort of follows you around like a merchant. It's like a vendor, a divine vendor. You can purchase potion effects and then summon shops later on. But the fact that we're getting these now, I mean, we'll find the temple soon. Regardless. I mean, within the next 2 dungeon levels. But a couple extra levels of piety is really good with the caster deities. I know I'm taking a long time to think about this, but I think it's really worth giving up Gozag, which I really consider to be kind of the prime... I think Gozag is just a really excellent balance of scaling and on-demand flexibility. I don't know. Plus you can bribe a branch later when you get super rich. But, I'm going to check myself because we are a mountain dwarf, and that means that a reduced penalty from armor might let us wear some dragon scales later on. So Gozag does go down in value when you're trying to pick up scales. since you can't. You have to just find a set of them already existing in the wild, which is extremely rare. So I don't think that Forgewright has a lot of spells that will benefit from Vehement's blasty directness. I just don't think that's true. So Sif Muna is kind of an appealing option because Sif will guarantee that we eventually get all of our Forgewright spells that we want. And we don't have a very extensive spell list right now. It's a little bit slow, but we're getting Sif a little early. Not super early, but like reasonably on time. I think we could go Sif. I'm not sure how mana intensive what we're doing is going to be. The other alternative, I've done a little bit of playing with Forgewright off recording while I was down with the plague, and Forgewright kind of enjoys being a little bit of a gish, a little bit of a melee magic hybrid, which we could take advantage of with a deity like Okawaru. We could worship Oka, and that would save us some time training our melee skills, and our other combat skills. Sort of a little cheaty there. We'll have plenty of mana because we're gonna to activate those abilities, because we've got a high spellcrafting. Another consideration would be Dith Menos. I'm really not sure how the spellcast mirroring functions with summon spells and Forgewright spells, so I don't think I want to try that for the first time on stream. I think given where we're at, we'll take Sif here, and just see how we do. I really like the prospect of being able to have a strong late game. I feel like we're fairly strong right now. We're pretty decently tough for a caster. 10 armor class is not bad. And also this will let us really shuffle around and tailor our spells as needed, with Sif's amnesia ability. So we'll try out Sif and see how it goes. Normally I prefer Vehement on casters, but I just really think that with the Forgewright spell set, we're not really getting a very good distribution of stuff. Vehement's a lot of blasty conjuration spells, and we're kind of trying to stay away from that. So what do we do with this range? Oh, I think we just forge a Lightning Spire, right? It wasn't where I would have put the Lightning Spire had I been given a choice. Oh, we're trading pole arms. Okay, I think that's reasonable. I think we can trade some pole arms here. We will look at this and see. Skill level 14. Yeah, pretty standard. I mean, I think this Demon Trident is a really strong weapon. Base damage 12 is not terrible with reach. It's the strongest, I think, one-handed polearm that we have any kind of reasonable access to. I believe there's like a holy version. The holy versions of weapons are slightly stronger than the demon versions of weapons. I think by typically 1 damage point. Oh, interesting. An artifact robe that we won't be using probably, because we've got this really good artifact ringmail. And we are trying to lean into the heavier armor. But this is a decent robe. Resist Cold minus is pretty scary. There are some early sources of cold damage that, white imps, for example, that can really wreck your day if you don't, if you have a weakness too. Ooh, we got a sack of spiders. Nice. Put that on our shopping list for later. We can buy a scroll of Identify, which I always love doing. It's cheap. It's It's kind of like getting a free other scroll. It identifies your identify scroll, so you don't have to burn any scrolls trying to find that stack. So I think we'll get that. Wand of Flame, Scroll of Summoning, those might be useful. But we might want to save our gold. Let's go ahead and read this Scroll of Identify, though. Now is a really good time to get some of our stuff figured out. Let's figure out some of our larger stacks first. Potions of Might, that's not terrible with what we're trying to do. Potions of Attraction could actually be useful, since our main damage is coming from our strike or our spike launcher. Normally, you know, Potions of Attraction are not great for casters, but we're a little beefier than your average bear. Scrolls of Noise. And we haven't found... Let me do one more potion over one of those scroll stacks. I feel like... Potion of Invisibility. Okay, that's a decent escape potion. We haven't found a healing potion yet, but that's fine. I don't think we're going to be taking a crazy amount of damage. We have decent defense already. 10 AC, 14 evasion is not too shabby for Dungeon 6 for a caster, for a hybrid caster. But we will be focusing a little more on defense soon. All right, and then let's just read this other. All right, and we've got a Scroll of Fear. Just in time for Blorkula the Orcula. Blorkula. Save me from Blorkula. All right. As with any unique, I advise taking a look at them to see what they can do before you engage. Unless you're really familiar with them. Like, I'm pretty familiar with what Siegfried can do, but Blorkula's gone through a few changes. He used to just be Blork the Orc. While I sip on my delicious Atole. Alright, 50% chance to hit with our weapon, but we're hoping our spike launcher... See, Throw Frost. Blorkula has Throw Frost, and that would have just insta-killed us, probably, if we were wearing that other robe. If we hadn't found a sense of cold resistance, which we have not. Throw Flame and Throw Frost stings, so he can do up to 20 damage. Geez, Sandblast is 3d10, so in order for us to do the most damage to him... Ooh, he might be too strong for us to fight right now. I don't know, we'll see. I think that what we'll do here... where are our escape routes? I didn't really explore this in the best pattern. I don't love this blank patch in the middle here, but I do think that we retreat and we kind of try and lose him in this tunnel here. I don't like the straightaway there, but I think it's what we've got to do. Let's toss down a lightning spire just to get... Oh, haste, right. We can't run. Ooh, I definitely took too many steps with him being hasted while I was thinking about the strategy that wasn't going to work. That's certainly a misplay, but I think we can still get out of this. I think we have the tools to, just out of curiosity, 64% chance to Mind Burst. That's not bad, but let's summon our Spike Launcher first. As long as he's hitting us with his mace, actually, I think that we're in good shape. Like I said, we've got 10 armor class, and a mace is... He's got 55% chance to hit us for a max of 16 damage from his mace and 6 from his bite. Yeah, that's a lot less than his other stuff. So I'm kind of okay if he keeps trying to engage us in melee. I guess it's 22 damage if he hits with both and does max, but like 55, so it's like a 28% chance or something to 30% chance to get us with both. All right, so we've got a thing down. I don't know that I want to kinetic grapple before I try a Mind Burst. I think even a level 0 Mind Burst is going to do more damage than our Demon Trident, maybe? Well, alright. We're gonna go back to just bonking. Spike plus Lightning Spire is pretty cool. I really like this combo. It's clearing out these bats in a way that's really pleasing to me. Blork will reform from any bats that remain, but we destroyed all the bats with the power of lightning and spikes. Okay, so I am going to actually take this Mace of Protection. We get... Oh no, we don't actually get cross-training with polearms on maces and flails. That's axes that I'm thinking of. I really shouldn't be auto-exploring at all, actually, at this point. We're a little too positionally dependent to be running around willy-nilly. Ooh, 2 scrolls of enchant weapon. Okay, I am going to save those because we can enchant artifacts. And unless we find a scroll of branding that gives us a really good brand on this demon trident, I'm going to hold off on our enchant weapon scrolls because I just think it's not our primary source of damage here. Yeah, I think we could identify another potion. I wouldn't mind Berserk Rage. That's an interesting one. We could set up our defenses, set up our turrets, and go berserk. I really like the Forgewright. I think it's a really, really fun playstyle if you like the hybrid, or in Dungeons and Dragons world, it's called a Gish. And I don't know why. So I'm just gonna call it hybrid, but if you're more familiar with that term, that's what I'm referring to. Okay, Skybeast gave us a good chunk of experience. What's our swiftness is at 9%. Oh, shush, Rooster. Swiftness is at 9%. Lightning Spire's at 6. I do think we still go ahead and get that 4th level in air magic. I think because we're gonna eventually want to maybe put on a heavier set of armor. You know, the dream, of course, is crystal plate, right? The orange crystal plate of clarity and archmagus and see, this is why I wanted the curing potion, but I think we're okay. That was a little bit tough of a fight, and we're certainly going to retreat upstairs to heal. Okay. I probably should have used a tool in that fight of some kind. Taken it a little more seriously than I did, because we have resist poison, so I thought we'd be fine. But, we have a helmet? Yes, we have a good helmet. We need gloves, boots, and a shield. Keep an eye on. Make sure I haven't missed any. Ooh, shoot. Did miss one. We're certainly going to buy this buckler and start training it up. I even had it on my shopping list and I just wasn't paying attention. Well, that's a little embarrassing, but that's okay. Yeah, I think it's time. I think we can do this, and I think maybe we turn off Forgecraft for a minute while we train our polearms, shields, and the last few points of air magic. I see. It was also kind of way back there. All right. Well, I don't feel so bad. Is there anything else on our shopping list that I'm missing? +9 broadaxe, Friag wool. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and remove that from our... I don't know that we're going broadaxes. I think polearms is just strictly better given our other positioning stuff. Let's just back off from this situation, set up a turret. And Brigand, I think if we fight him on the stairs, we'll be fine. Okay, level 5. We're definitely putting this into... Ooh, are we? I assumed that we were putting this into intelligence. That's probably still correct. I'm really not sure about this one. I think I just still want to put it into intelligence. I think it's getting all of our late game spells online is how we're going to win. Our weapon will provide excellent supplemental damage, especially in the form of non-elemental, non-magical supplemental damage, but yeah, we want to eventually be able to win the game, and I think intelligence is the way we do that. But I think next level we put points into strength. I think we... Yes, Kat, you have a very hard life. A very hard life indeed. All right, my dear. Even though this orc is popcorn, we're still going to back up and... Yeah, see, our trident by itself is not doing the most damage, but it is giving us a solution for when we're out of mana. Little less important that now that we have Sith Muna, but it will still happen. There are times where we just won't have access to all of our tools, magically speaking, and those instances... I've got some more bees. Also, our spike launcher is a pretty short-lived construct. It's at full power, and it's only living a few rounds. That's a very poorly placed spiker. So I think that anticipating being out of mana and needing to use our other weapons... Ooh, that's a really good position for that lightning spire. That gives a bounce. I miss the days when this spell was ridiculously overpowered and you could place it wherever you wanted. Summon Lightning Spire. I have retrieved an orb or two on the back of that spell, for sure. This feels like a much more reasonable version, although it still seems quite strong, as lightning bolts tend to be. Coslol, we've got Coslol at home. I crack myself up. All right. Let's duck behind this wall. How do we position here? Where's our spot? Probably here now that we're within range of this bee, so that we're not cut off from the staircase. I don't love this. Maybe let's... we've got a lot of charges of Mind Burst, and I feel like it's a pretty strong chance to affect the bees. So let's see if we can clear out these bees with our wand. So that we can more easily attack the priest. And then I think we retreat upstairs. We're going to take a couple of hits, but... Ooh, miscast there isn't my favorite, but I think it's still... Yeah, so see here we have a 69% failure rate on our channel magic, so we're not going to be... All right, good. It got the bee. Now get the orc. Got enough for a couple of kinetic grapples, make our polearm a little more effective, and boom. All right, excellent. Got down to half health, which isn't ideal. You know, you wanna try and stay in the top third of your health bar for encounters, so that you don't get spike damaged to death. But I still think given how that encounter kind of rolled into more than we anticipated, I think this is fine. However, we will want to descend via another set of stairs so that we're not bumping right into that knoll that we left at the bottom, the knoll sergeant. All right, and I think I'm going to wrap this first video up here. We're going to do another one immediately after and get some content for y'all, but that fight was pretty intense, and I could use a de-tilt, sip my beverage moment. Thank you, crawlers. Make sure to like and subscribe so that I get lots of dopamine. That would be cool of you. And we'll see you soon for another Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup adventure!